Hey babes, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you all are doing really well. So for today's video, we are gonna do a Q&A, spend some quality one-on-one time, just the two of us together, and answer all of your questions. I love to do a Q&A probably like 2 times a year. We have a lot of new subscribers to the channel, so this is always a good opportunity for me to answer all of your questions. So grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's get into it. I asked you guys to ask me questions over on Instagram, and we have lots of questions, so let's see how many we can get through. But if you're not following me over on Instagram, please do go follow me. It's at I am Carissa Renee. First and foremost, I had a lot of people just say how much they love my vlogs, they love my style, they love me in general, but yeah, just that my videos are so much fun to watch. So thank you guys so much. I love you guys so much for all of those sweet comments. I think that this is a good segue into the first question of what motivates me to do YouTube, and it truly is all of you guys. Hands down, my favorite part is interacting with you and the community that we have built. What I look forward to the most is interacting with you guys every single time I post. Like, that's what helps keep me going. And I think the other aspect of it is that I made this commitment to myself to do this and stay consistent doing it. And I obviously don't want to break any promises or commitments that I made to myself. This is hard, it is challenging. I feel like a lot of people say that, but unless you do it, you don't truly know like how hard and challenging it can be. But I wouldn't change any of it for the world. I think it's so much fun. It's such like a positive, creative outlet for me. It's something like I'm really passionate about. It's something that I don't have in any other facet of my life. So definitely outweighs any negatives. But this year in particular was pretty challenging for me. I know a lot of you guys say like you're really proud for how much I've grown and consistently grown and all that sort of stuff. But this year I've actually seen less growth than last year. I didn't hit the goal that I set for myself, which can be really frustrating and easy to get down on myself or be disappointed with myself. But I always have to remind myself of why I love to do this, and it comes back to the motivation, and it's really all about you guys. So love you guys, thank you guys so much. I had a question on if I do any Botox or filler, and you guys know how transparent I am. I even vlog it. Yes, I do Botox and I do lip filler, but I do it in a very natural way, and I don't do it that often. I probably do half of a syringe in my lips about once a year, and then probably 2 times a year. I don't remember how many units, but I do get some Botox up on my forehead, and then I try to do around my eyebrows as well to do like a slight eyebrow lift, because as I'm getting older now, my eyebrows are starting to droop down, but that's literally all I do. Easy question, how old am I? I am 33 years old. I really like this question. It really made me think back on this last year. But what are you most proud of from 2022? Thank you for asking this question, because I love that it made me reflect. This year, I put a lot of focus and emphasis on me personally, my mental well-being, but also just to step outside of my comfort zone too. So a few things that I'm really proud of this year is that I took more time off for myself. I have so much time off with Amazon and I never use it. So this year I made more of an emphasis to take that time off. You guys saw that I took so many trips this year, and it's just necessary for your mental well-being. I feel like I connected more with myself, but also more with Juan, and just ensuring that I have a life outside of work. So I'm really, really proud of that. Another thing that I am really proud of is reading. It sounds so small and might sound like insignificant, but I have gone so many years not even reading 1 book in a year. Like, I feel like that's so embarrassing. And somehow I always just felt it to be like really challenging and intimidating to set goals for reading and stick to them, especially with all the other craziness that life has to offer, and like really carving out that time. But late in the year, pretty much halfway through the year in June, I started reading, and then I set a goal for myself to read X amount of books. I think it was like 12 books for the year, and I'm already at like 17 books read for the year. So I am extremely proud of myself myself for that. And a few other career-oriented things that I'm really proud of for 2022 is my Amazon work promotion. I got promoted at Amazon. I am now a senior program manager, and I worked so freaking hard for that. And so I'm obviously extremely proud that I was able to achieve that this year. And then YouTube and the consistent growth with YouTube and the relationships that we have, I'm always really proud of. And then I also started an Airbnb. I converted my condo over to an Airbnb, if you guys missed it. And so that's like another revenue stream and business that I took on this year. So I'm really proud of all of that stuff. This is a funny one. Thoughts on my Tesla. I have a lot of questions about my Tesla all the time, but I don't feel like I ever have a place to answer those questions. So this is a good time. I am obsessed with my Tesla. It's my favorite car that I've ever owned. I think what I love about it the most is the fact that it's electric car. There's no gas, and especially with the gas prices and all of that craziness experienced this last year, I don't really have to worry about it. Also, I hated going to the gas station, so I never have to go to the gas station again, and I have a charger built in to my garage, so every time I'm home, I just plug in my Tesla. It's easy peasy. It's so inexpensive. I love that. I also love how low maintenance it is. I haven't really had any problems, and there's no real need to take it to the dealership and get any work done, so that's really nice. I love just like the design and the aesthetics of the car. It sounds like so weird to say it, but I'm such like an aesthetic person. So it's an important aspect for me in my car, and I love that, and I love the roof of it, like how it's just all glass. And I think the other main aspect that I love about it is the fact that Tesla sends software updates, and that can include like minor bug fixes, but it can also be like feature releases. So I feel like every time that there's a software update, it's like I have a brand new car again. Like there's new features being rolled out all of the time, and it's so much fun. Where is your chair from in your work hall filming space? So if it's my desk chair that you were referring to, then that is from France and Son. If it's my filming chair that I sit in typically when I do my sit down videos, that is from Article. I'll link both of them down below for you guys. I'd love to hear about your Invisalign journey versus Juan's. I have braces now and struggling. Oof, I feel you. Having braces or Invisalign as an adult is challenging, but honestly, I need to commend you for it. I feel like people think that wearing Invisalign and braces is only allowed under 18 years old, but I feel like more and more people are doing it as an adult, and it's like, just because we're of a certain age, why should we not care about like how our teeth look, especially if that is something that is important to you. I have a whole video on my Invisalign journey, so I'll link it for you guys. Mine was pretty fast. It was not a serious case. It was just like some slight adjusting that I needed to do, so I think mine was only like 7 months long. Of course, having to take out your aligners every single time you wanted to eat or drink can get annoying, but it's such a short time frame that you need to go through that like in a blink of an eye it's gone, and any of the complaining that I did throughout it, like it's long forgotten at this point in time. And I still wear my aligners every single night because I mean I put in the time and the money into it. We gotta keep them looking good. But as far as Juan's journey, his case is a little bit more severe than mine was. His whole journey is going to be like 1.5 years, but I actually asked him about it right before filming this video, and he said that he's enjoying it. Like everything is going well and he doesn't really have any complaints about it. Would you ever ask Juan to shave his beard? Love your videos. Thank you so much. Never. I would never ask him to shave it. I love his beard. I say this to him all the time. I think he looks better with the beard than without it. Lots of questions about work-life balance. How do you manage work, YouTube, life balance, work-life balance, tips for it? I'm no master by any means. It's something that I still struggle with every single day, is finding like that perfect balance. But I'll offer up a little bit about like what I do at least. I think it's a lot about creating the harmony. If you really focus on trying to find that like perfect balance, you'll never find it. Like it really doesn't exist. But it's structuring your day in a way that you are achieving bits of everything that you need to get done to make forward progress. So how that looks for me is that I live and die by like a to-do list and my planner. A lot of it for me is just planning. So structuring your day of like, okay, Monday, I have to get this done for Amazon and I have to get this done for YouTube, but then I also want to make time for this. So doing it in a way where you're not experiencing any burnout because you're lighting the candle. Is that that what it's called, on both ends like way too much. Don't overdo it and don't overextend yourself. Everything will get done. There's time for it all. I think that's something that I struggle with, but set like say 3 non-negotiables that you have to get done for each of the categories every single day, and I think that that would help a lot. I do film a lot of day in my life vlogs of managing and trying to balance it all, so hopefully those can help provide you with like a few tips of things that I typically do in real time, and hopefully this overall like helped you a bit with that as well. Tips for budgeting. I constantly seem to be getting out of hand. Girl, you and me both. It is a hard thing to manage and to control. It takes a lot of self-control for budgeting. Again, I'll explain a little bit of what I do, and hopefully that can be helpful advice for you, but everyone's different in how they do things, you know? So what works for me is I am such a data-driven person. I love to see where my money is going in, out. I love to track it all. I actually have like a full spreadsheet where I track all of my spending. So say I have a paycheck come in. What works for me is I immediately need to divide it into 3 buckets. I take a portion of it that's meant for bills, I put that aside. I try to save about 30%, and that saving could be anything going into a high yielding savings account, investing, like whatever that looks like, but putting that money aside for your future or for emergencies. And then I have leftover money, and that is what I budget within, is that leftover money. And I will never ever get myself into debt. It's something I'm like terrified of, so I always stay within that bucket and allowance that I give myself. So if it's something that you haven't already done, I would recommend that. Like, look at the money that you have coming in, how much of it you need to set aside for bills, how much of it you would like to set aside for savings, for emergencies, the future, vacations, like whatever that may be, and then see what's left over and then work within that. And I would say like your bills should be inclusive of all like your necessities too. So like say gas and grocery shopping, that sort of stuff. If you've already done all that and you still need help with budgeting, I think the main thing is just self-control. I mean, don't do online shopping, don't look at websites, don't put yourself in a position where you feel tempted, especially if like you're easily convinced, because I know I can be. I have no idea if that was helpful, but I hope it was. I have so many questions on if I would ever make YouTube my full job. This is something that I've touched on a bit in the past, and I think that the sentiment pretty much remains the same. Maybe I think that that's the best answer I can give. There's a lot of things that need to be decided before I would make that move. For one, like I feel really well established at Amazon in my career. There's a lot that I do with Amazon that fulfills like passions and interests, and I also feel very secure in that job as well. And I feel like this is where my traditional side plays a factor, or maybe just like my generation. I feel like my generation is very in between, like, yeah, it's okay to have a job that is in YouTube versus like, no, why would you ever do that? You need to have like a job with a 401k and benefits and like a corporate job. So it's like in my mind, it's like, is it okay to go towards YouTube? So that's like one facet of it, of just like the comfort with my job and how much it fulfills me still. And the other aspect of it is, of course, income and money. So right now it's kind of nice that I have a dual income. So in order to get to a point where I would take on YouTube full time, I would have to make more than my dual income, and we're just not there. So I feel like I'm kind of in the same position I was a couple years ago when we started even bringing up this question. Right now, it definitely doesn't make sense. In the future, maybe it does. We'll see. I don't know if I'll ever get to that point, but yeah, we'll see. But for now, I am going to maintain both of them as long as I possibly can. And I mean, I'm proud of myself that I'm still able to maintain both of them and stay consistent, because it's been what, over 2 years of me doing YouTube, consistently posting twice a week. There has never been a time that I missed a week of uploading. I maybe have dropped it down to 1 upload, but I've never missed a week. So it's crazy to even think about. I'm really proud of myself for that. A question on if, do you think Juan and I would ever leave Amazon? I think for me, I kind of already answered that. Like, I don't think I would go to another company. It would either be stay at Amazon or leave Amazon to do YouTube full time. So I think that that's pretty it for me. For Juan, I would never say never. If an opportunity presented itself, I think he should take it. Like, I'm gonna talk Juan up for a minute here, but he is so incredibly smart. He's so smart, and I feel like sometimes he underestimates his smartness. He is a senior software engineer at Amazon. He is on track to be promoted to a principal engineer, which is so freaking hard to do. I'm so proud of him. I feel like he could easily get a job anywhere else and like double his income. That guy is one freaking smart cookie. So maybe, but I feel like Juan's pretty comfortable. Like since he started at Amazon, he's only been on the same team. He's never even like switched teams at Amazon. So I don't know. I think he gets content, and I don't think he likes to switch it up. I think it would have to take something major for him to change. And this is just me speaking. I don't know how he feels. Oh, I love this question. Have you two ever tossed up the idea of moving to Argentina? So straight up moving there, no. We've talked about it. I don't think we would ever move there. However, I think that we should absolutely be spending more time there and traveling there more. Since the last trip that we just took in October, there are 2 vlogs if you guys want to go check them out. They're so much fun. Went to a wedding, spending time with his family. Oh, loved it. But while we were there, we thought about it a lot more, and even like speaking with his friends and family about it. And I think like what we might end up doing is just try to spend like a couple months there at a time, especially because we both like work from home and we can just work down there as well. I mean, it makes sense. Why not, right? So they have opposite seasons to us. So right now with us heading into winter, they're heading into their summer. And so we would potentially look at going there when it's their summer and our winter. So it's an idea that we're floating around. Let's see if we make it come to life, but I think that that's what we would end up doing. Lots of questions about how Juan and I met. So I gave this story in one of the other Q&As, but I will retell it because it's cute. So before I was a senior program manager at Amazon, I was also a recruiter at Amazon before I did like my whole career change. And when I was a recruiter at Amazon, the business that I supported was Juan's team. And long story short, we ended up doing like these business events where we would travel pretty much all around the world to recruit people to work at Amazon. So we went to Argentina a few times, we went to Germany, New York, like lots of places. And at the start of it was going to Argentina, and this was when Juan was pretty new to living in the US, and that's how I met him, was through Amazon and through working with his business. And then we ended up traveling to all these locations together, and we kind of just created like a friendship, and we ended up being like best friends, and then a relationship kind of developed from there, and the rest is history. How long have Juan and I been together? We've been together, I think, for 5.5, 6 years now. Yeah. And then naturally, the question that is burning on all of your minds. Yes, let's get to it. I will answer it. Marriage, kids. This may be annoying, but are you guys planning on having kids? You would make cute little, thank you. Kids. Is there a wedding in the future? Man, you guys really want to know this. So this whole section, I'm going to be brutally honest with you guys. I think I last answered this question 2 years ago, and I haven't answered it since. And I think a lot of what I said in that original Q&A video where I addressed this, a lot of it actually remains the same, but there has been obviously development since then as well. So first, for marriage, I feel like this is a hot topic. My stance on it is that I felt like I needed to get married because that is what traditionally in society tells you you need to do. And so I always like told myself that I would get married eventually. But if we're being more realistic now, I don't think that's in the cards. I'm not a traditional person. It's not something that I really want. And luckily Juan is very much on the same page as me. So marriage might not be in the cards for us. And we are 100% okay with that decision. We are in a fully committed relationship. We don't see how putting that on paper really changes anything. And so unless there is like a major reason, decision, life event, something that happens where it makes sense for us to make it legal and on paper and make it official that we're married, we probably won't be getting married. I know that this is a very unpopular opinion, but really for me, like I've never truly have seen myself getting married and going in that direction. For me, I come from parents that are divorced, and I think that that really impacted me. And then also with Juan, he has been married before. So that is our journey, and that is okay. Not everyone needs to get married. And I think for me, like what's really hard is that I feel like people put on me that in order for me to be defined, I have to be married and have kids. And that's just not the way I see things. I was raised to be a very independent woman, and I just don't really view things that way. I have so many friends and family that are in marriages, and I pass no judgment towards marriages. I think it's truly beautiful, but everybody's journey is very different, and I feel like that's okay too. So now on to the topic of kids, which is another area that I will be very openly and honest with you guys as well. I really toyed with the idea of kids. There's some moments where I'm like, oh, I would love to have kids, but there's also moments that I'm like, oh, this is not for me. And I think that up until lately, it's always been where I've never really seen kids for me. But now that, like, I don't know, like with my brother having his son, and I also just feel like I'm around babies more, it's like my opinion is changing a little bit. And Juan and I have been having conversations about it. We're both on the same page where maybe someday, yes, we would like to have kids. I don't think we're ready right this moment, but I think the door is open, ajar, for us to start planning that aspect a little bit more. I don't think it would come for like another couple of years, but the conversations are happening more realistically and seriously than just having the opinion of, no, we don't really want kids. So there's progress in that regard. So yeah, we'll see. You guys, this is crazy because besides just like the conversations Juan and I have about it, I've never actually like verbally told anyone, including family. So it's kind of like awkward to even talk about and try to put it into words. But I feel like that makes sense, what I said. So in summary, the answer has changed from probably never having kids to yes, I think we will, but it will probably be in a couple of years still. No? On that note, and the fact that I'm sweating with answering those last two questions, let's go ahead and end off this Q&A. I'm sure it is long enough, but it was so much fun answering all of your questions, and I really hope that you guys got to know me a little bit more. What I think would be really fun is leave a comment down below, just saying like a little fact or detail about yourself, because I would love to get to know you guys more as well. But I love you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in a couple of days in my next video. Bye. Mwah.